Hey everyone, my name is Miska and welcome to HitScan. And today we're looking at a character that some of you might not have been as hyped to play due to it not being the flashiest, but he's extremely useful and I feel like quite underrated by the general Valorant fanbase right now. Not a whole lot of eyes on him, so let's take a look at Brimstone. Brimstone is a controller, which means he kind of shapes the battlefield to his liking to create opportunities for him and his team to perform. And that's really the main characteristic about this character. Big thanks to HyperX as well. Thank you for supporting the channel for such a long time. If you need any gaming gear, mouse, headsets, keyboards, then check them out via the link in the description and top comment. More about them later, but for now I want to show you a very simple but very textbook Brimstone example of a push where I smoke off the double doors here on the left, I smoke off the top of the mid here, which is kind of the main B entrance, and then I smoke off left side once I've made it all the way up there safely in a very sort of chill way, and all that's left here for this jet is to peek me left side after I've mollied the right side here. And yeah, that's kind of all she could really do, except if she wanted to, of course, jump up on the boxes, at which point she would have made a sound cue and I could have picked up on that instead. So it was a pretty safe and chill approach. One thing that's not very safe and chill is the stim packs, though. I don't really feel like you get a whole lot of use out of them, but this is probably one of the better clips I have where I stim pack to try and hold double doors and just go for a sort of crazy double spray down here. It's really not clean, but damn, that's a lot of bullets, and I guess quantity over quality in that sort of case. So if you want to go for a crazy light machine gun spray with this thing on as well, that is a lot of covering fire for your teammates too, so can't recommend. It's more for fun though than actually useful. It works out sometimes, it only really ups your fire rate, that's the only useful thing about it, but it does give that buff to teammates as well. Just watch out so you don't give it to enemies too, as if enemies walk into it they also get that buff. So yeah, you gotta watch out where you place it, and you can toss it over to some teammates if you feel like they need it, but I don't feel like it's that useful of an ability. It's the smokes and the Molotov where it's really at. And speaking of the Molotov, that's exactly how you kind of want to be thinking about this character. The Molly is a very obvious way to block off an entrance or a particular area or a spot where you don't want the enemy to be, because it just deals so much damage when they try to walk through it. So in that clip I showed earlier, the jet couldn't really walk out on the right side, and if you keep an eye out throughout this video, you'll notice that I just really use it as area denial. I get almost no kills with it except this one here really and a couple more, and that's gonna be the main theme of it. And in a way it's very similar to some of the other abilities where they are all just visual blockers and area deniers. That's basically all of Brimstone's kit except the stim pack, which is a little bit of a weird one, kind of why it's also the odd one out there. But yeah, executing a sight, solid. You can do it with smokes really easily and just set your team up. See here, just blocking off the entirety of C. You can run in fairly well. If you got a Phoenix here, then going around the front corner is also going to be a whole lot easier. Same thing when you're defending really, where if you want to slow down a push, you just block off a few different areas and you call for your teammates to rotate. But because of how Brimstone is so reliant on blocking areas off for himself and other people and communicating, you have to really be doing that. If you're not communicating and if your gunplay isn't on point, you're just not gonna really get any kills with this character. And I think that's genuinely really good design. That's how a character should work, being able to support his team but also set himself up and enhance his own gunplay. That's what Valorant is all about, and anything that breaks that currently feels a little bit off in the game. A good example of supporting my teammates here, once again, you can see how these smokes stay up for quite a while. We had to go through a sage wall and a bunch of stuff, and then once we were out, the smokes are still up for a bit. They last for ages and they don't have that sort of bubble effect in the middle. When you're in them, you just cannot see anything. So yeah, all in all, Brimstone I definitely think is top tier just because of how easily he can set up a site execute from a safe spot, and that is just very unique to be able to do as well as he can do it, and how reliably he can do it as well, as some abilities can be incredibly difficult to land perfectly every time. Imagine you want to curve a jet smoke to a particular spot over and over and over. That's going to be difficult to learn. And same thing with Omen, honestly. Sometimes you just miss those smokes. Even though they go through the map, they can go a bit too high and a bit too low, and it can just be a little bit tricky to get to work. But Brimstone, much more reliable, and because of that, just one of, if not the best agent to have when you're just trying to plan an approach to attack a bomb site. And if we're talking about just area denial and visual deniers, then we can talk about the ultimate as well, because that's probably one of the more defining character abilities that people will be thinking about a lot with Brimstone. And let me just preface this by saying, you're not really gonna get multi-kill after multi-kill with this thing. In a way, it's kind of like you have the Molly ability, the small Molly, and then you have the bigger one, the ultimate, which is kind of just like a big Molly. And that's all that it really is. Honestly, it doesn't actually get that many kills. Most of the time you just want to use it if you really want to block something off. Sure, if you walled someone into a teleporter, or you walled someone into a particular spot and you just want to get rid of them, then that's a pretty good way to do it without risking a difficult peak. Or maybe that player is one that's just on top of the world right now and popping off in that game and you just want him gone. That's a good way to deal with that too. Here's a quick example of an enemy being locked into the rope room and me just deleting him as well with this ultimate.
Molly.
Cool.
Back side. Yep. Kind of back side. On the money. Open up the sky.
Come on, die, bitch! Yeah! He was very stuck there. This was live on twitch.tv/Miska as well, so if you want to check that out, I'd really appreciate it. I might be live right now even, who knows. Anyway, Orbital Strike, the ultimate. I like it a lot for site retakes, especially because it is just kind of like a big Molotov and area denying ability, where if you don't want someone to be in the back of the site, you can make them move as you are moving in, and that really puts them at a disadvantage, as if they are running to a different spot, they can't really also aim for you as well and get that headshot. So all in all, really think that Brimstone is just incredibly versatile and a lot of fun to play. Whenever I look at polls right now of characters that people are looking forward to playing or are already playing, then Brimstone is almost always bottom tier, and I feel like that's just a lot of people missing out on how strong he really is. And yes, I get it, he's not Jet, he's not your super flashy character, he's not Phoenix that can just go in and frag out all by himself incredibly quickly in a very sort of stylish way. But if you think about other games where there are characters that have super flashy abilities, most of the time they don't end up being absolute top tier. The ones that end up being absolute top tier are the ones that are reliably very strong and have abilities that allow you to reliably perform and reliably hold, defend, fend off, attack, or just annihilate bomb sites, and that's kind of what you want to be doing here too. I find myself being able to concentrate a lot more on the gunplay with Brimstone as well, because I don't feel like his abilities really get in the way. The fact that you can use the sky smokes before you go in for a fight kind of means that when you're in that fight you have nothing to really think about other than the shooting, which also really helps, at least for me. Sure, you can throw out a stim pack or a Molotov, but you'll kind of be doing those things as well before the fight starts. Now compare that to a Sova, for example, that I feel like I catch off guard with abilities out quite a bit. That's really where the character differences lie of Brimstone versus most other characters in the game. Even other agents that I consider top tier, such as Breach and Sage, I would say get caught with abilities out way more than Brimstone, and a lot of Valorant is to not get caught out with your abilities out. Have them set up already, or be ready to set them up in a clever way. Because if there's one thing you're gonna notice if you've not played the game already, it's that when you are in game, you're gonna be caught out with abilities out all the time, especially when you start playing. It's gonna be happening just 24/7, and it's nothing to feel bad about, but it's something that everyone's gonna have to work with. And when Brimstone doesn't really have that hurdle to get over, at least as much, then yeah, you've got a huge advantage already. Once again, thanks to HyperX for supporting this video. I'm using their keyboard, mouse, and headset, and if there's one thing I've really started enjoying, it's the HyperX Alloy FPS. It's a 10 keyless Cherry MX Red switches keyboard with a really small frame. It feels very compact, but still precise and quite easy to fit on your desk. It doesn't get in the way at all. Really recommend that one, and if you want to check out some of their top tier headsets that are just very comfortable to wear for a long time too, then I strongly recommend the Cloud Alpha. You can check all of that out on HyperX's website in the link in the description or top comment. Thank you, HyperX. Alrighty, that's everything for this video. Once again, if you want to check out any of this gameplay live, you can check out twitch.tv/Miska. I stream pretty much every day right now. I don't know how long I'm gonna be. I'm pretty new to streaming regularly. You can also get beta access by watching my channel, so I'd really appreciate a follow. And if you come by, then just let me know if you watch this video. Just tell me, hey, I saw the Brimstone video now on Twitch. I'd really appreciate that. It means a lot to me whenever I see people that have seen videos on this channel and then come to my Twitch, as that's gotta be a sign of me doing something right at least. And yeah, sometimes you just don't really know what's working and not on YouTube and Twitch. So yeah, really appreciate that. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully see you in Valorant. Bye bye.